Hi, and welcome back to X's and O's with Dan Orlovsky. I'm Mike O'Hara, and we're brought to you again by Xfinity. And Dan Orlovsky, the Detroit Lions got to 500 with a win over the New York Giants and a rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones, who threw 4 touchdown passes. The week before, 4 TD passes from veteran Kirk Cousins. As the Lions go to Oakland right now and try to get above 500 as they hit the midway point of the season, what sort of issues are they facing from the Oakland Raiders defense led by Carr, a really fine, young, accurate quarterback?
Yeah, the Raiders' offense is playing well, Mike. Their talent upgrade is showing up. And Tyrell Williams is playing well for them. They got a young tight end, Waller, playing well. Josh Jacobs, their draft pick out of Alabama, is becoming a very good dual threat running back. A guy that you can hand it to and throw it to. So, and the biggest thing is they've got an offensive line that they've built a foundation upon. Their offensive line's playing really good. It'll be a big challenge for the Lions defense.
Well, Carr's only been sacked 8 times. He's got a completion rate of 72.1%, so could be a tough day. Dan, let's start going to the X's and O's right now, and we'll start right now in the first quarter. 65-yard touchdown pass to Hunter Renfrow. You talked about him before. Give us the X's and O's. Break it down. Tell us what you see.
Well, here's part of this talent infusion. Hunter Renfrow, a draft pick out of Clemson. This is a play that is notorious around the NFL, right? It's traditionally known as an F-post thing, but the thing that Hunter Renfrow does so well of is his patience on this route. A third down concept. Watch how he gets into the defender and sets him up going out. The stutter step, making that defender open up his hips. Hunter Renfrow is a really good route runner. So the question becomes for the Lions, when you play man-to-man defense, especially on a third down, is he a guy that he's such a good route runner? Is he a guy that you have to send someone to all the time? Is he going to be a Coleman, where you send Coleman to him all the time because you feel like he might be in the slot, certainly inside the numbers, a better matchup versus a route runner? Third down, they motion a guy over, they see it's man-to-man coverage, and then they get in and out where they send a shallow down that takes away run defender, and then it gives Hunter Renfrow one-on-one with really a third of the field completely to work with. And with his route, he can go in, he can go out, or he can sit. So what defender do you feel best about in man-to-man? And then what defender do you feel smartest about understanding where he needs to play his leverage?
And we're seeing some big plays in the plays that you're going to break down here. Are they beating you with scheme, or are they beating you with talent, or a combination of both?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, that's how you do it, right? You have good plays and you have good players executing them at a high level, and they're doing that offensively.
Okay, we're going to move to the second quarter right now, and here's a 23-yard run by Josh Jacobs. You mentioned him, the draft pick from Alabama. Break it down. Give us the X's and O's. Tell us what you see.
Yeah, this is probably their favorite run, and it's not a crazy new schematic thing. It's an outside zone. They like to motion over the tight end. What that does is it sets a front a certain way. It also allows leverage on a block. So he gets outside leverage on the end man on the line of scrimmage for Houston right there, and he's able to just help that tackle just enough so the tackle can turn, and then he's able to go up to the linebacker and equals a big run. But the reason they like this run so much for their offense is because the running back, Josh Jacobs, sees it really well. Watch him put a foot in the ground. He kind of sets the block up, dips in to get out. This kid's talented. He's explosive. He's strong, but he's got the brain. He's got the football awareness and understanding of the run game to match it. And so that's why this is their favorite run. Dip out, dip in to get out, and then create leverage for your blockers with that motion. It's become a big part of their run scheme.
Well, that's a big play in this scoring drive here. And now we get to the touchdown play itself. It's an 8-yard pass to the tight end. We talked about him, Darren Waller. Break it down. Give us the X's and O's. Tell us what you see.
Now, Waller's become a guy that the Raiders like to stretch the field with, but he's also a guy that they like to get the ball out of Derek Carr's hands with. Derek Carr's going to throw the ball quickly no matter what. But down in the red zone, what they want to do is get it out of his hands quickly and get him on the edge, get him on the perimeter. You're going to see a lot of movement, naked, bootleg stuff. So they bring a receiver across in motion. They jet sweep them. So you're, as a defender, you're now looking at, does the jet sweep have it? Did they hand it off? And just that little bit of hesitation allows a guy like Waller, who's a big athlete, to come across the formation and get open out in space, right? And so the red zone plan needs to be very detailed of not paying attention to certain motions and making sure that you're playing on the right leverage, right? You start outside leverage as a safety there, and you have to see 2 things, and he crosses across the formation. The ball gets out so quickly. So the red zone plan for the Lions defensively is going to be really important of understanding, making sure, don't give easy edges to the quarterback, and then where is Waller?
Well, that's one of his 46 catches, Dan. That's almost 7 a game. That's got to be an awful tough chore for the Detroit Lions secondary to cope with this guy, doesn't it?
And he's big too. He's a big physical player. So if you got a big physical athlete that can run down the field and do a lot in their pass game, and he's a big part of it, again, I always go back to this. What matchup do you feel good about if you're going to play man-to-man coverage with that?
Okay, we've got one more here. We move along to the third quarter, a 46-yard touchdown pass to Tyrell Williams. Break it down. Give us the X's and O's. Tell us what you see.
This one's pretty sick. You know, on third down, what the Raiders like to do is get up to the line of scrimmage and figure out what you're doing. So you're going to get some of these dummy cadence, I'm going to just yell hut, 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 and the defense is going to show me what they're in. And Derek Carr does that. He gives a leg kick. Okay, now I see that you're in man-to-man coverage. And as he goes about to change this play, it's really unique what they do. The receiver up top cuts his split down. So as a defender, you think, okay, here comes a shallow cross. Well, really, they're doing a double move shallow. Williams comes down like he's running a shallow. They send Waller on a shallow as well. So right in that moment where they pass each other, that looks like a common concept known as mesh route. Now, Tyrell Williams wheels back around. This is a designed play. This is not a broken play. So the defender is running underneath Tyrell Williams thinking this is going to be a shallow cross 4 yards across the field. They use it as a little bit of rub or a pick, and he goes shallow, reverse up, and Carr does a nice job of patience, buying time and drifting that way. But that is a designed play, and that breaks so many rules. If you're a defender and you see shallow cross, you teach these DBs to run on the back hip and try to undercut because it's an harder throw. If you undercut this route, which is kind of what Houston's trying to do, it's a touchdown. And so this play changes your defensive plan completely because you can't just say, hey, we're going to play man-to-man and they're going to run shallow and undercut it, because now they've given you a different variation out of it. It's going to be a big challenge for man-to-man secondary playing team.
You know, Dan Orlovsky, the Detroit Lions did a great job against the Giants star Saquon Barkley, last week. If you're the Detroit Lions, before we wrap it up here, what do you focus on if you have to focus on one thing against the Oakland Raiders?
Yeah, you don't want to give up big plays. You want to make them earn their yards. The Raiders have become a really good offense where an efficient and kind of hard-headed or stubborn run game, and then they like to push the football downfield. And said in the offseason, Derek Carr could throw the ball downfield if he's got some people to do it. He does now, but you got to make sure that they earn their yards.
All right, Dan Orlovsky, that's a wrap for this week. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Detroit Lions at Oakland Raiders.